What up, Horror Squad? I am here with two very, very special guests. We have
Gary from Pawn Stars, King Pokemon.
And
Smpratte.
These are two of perhaps the biggest collectors in the entire world. And today I kind of just wanted to talk to y'all about Pokemon collecting, what kind of got y'all started into collecting, and kind of just go into there for everybody to kind of just learn more about it in the trading card game. So we'll start maybe with Gary.
Well, the way I got into it, originally it was a business matter. In 1998, I got involved with a group that brought cards in from Japan, had them graded and sold them on the Home Shopping Network. So I got into it as a business matter.
All right.
But soon after it hit our shores, became huge, and my sons got into it. And just being a dad, I joined in with them and supervised, and pretty soon I was having as much fun as they were.
Well, that's great. That's a great way.
And so I stuck with it. Eventually, within a couple years of 1999, my sons got interested in girls, and so they were gone. And it left me with the Pokemon cards that I enjoyed collecting. I'd always been a collector, and this was just one more natural step for me. And so I just continued collecting. Hated selling, loved holding on to stuff, and fortunately I held on to some good stuff.
Great. And what about you?
I'm pretty much the typical 90s situation.
Same here.
Grew up with it. Yeah, it's pretty typical. I think most people grew up with it at school. You go through that phase where you're too cool for a while. And then, I came back during college, probably mid-2000s, and it really snowballed into like a full-time thing now. I mean,
What are some of your most prized cards that y'all have? And prized cards that you have, but like also mean something to you as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, like Gary's Charizard and mine are like the trophy cards. For those who are aware, trophy cards are the cards that are only given out at tournaments to winners. And it's tough because I think there's some that are sentimental for me that are also valuable, but a lot of my stuff that's sentimental, like Southern Island, I absolutely love Southern Island, and super affordable. So yeah, that was actually the first purchase I did getting back into the hobby as an adult, was a Southern Island set. So.
Yeah, I really loved the Pokemon base set. It seemed like there's many cards that hold specific memories for me. One story I've told before, it was my son at the time, 8 years old, opening up a base, and pulling a base set Charizard. And he did not let go of that card for 3 days. I swear he didn't let go of it for 3 days, and the first night he actually slept with it. And I remember looking in on him holding that Charizard in his hand. And
you're like, oh, it's a PSA 5 now.
Yeah, right. And then he ended up going to sleep. In the morning, I went and peeked in, and he was asleep, but he still had that Charizard grasped in his hand.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the cards from from those early years that hold images, that are memories that I'll never forget. And that's what it's about. Those memories. Even my most expensive cards, the most valuable thing I have is memories like that. Because those will never leave me, and those will. They'll just always be ingrained in my mind. So.
Right. Well, that's great. And that's what it's about. It's about the nostalgia. It's about the memories. I would love to know y'all's opinions on just how the state of the Pokemon card game is right now. Whether it be for, I know it's a very, convoluted question about saying how the new cards are, how the old cards, the market are for the old cards as well for sealed product. I would love to just get like a kind of like a Spark Notes version from each of y'all.
I mean, I think the TLDR is that it's just doing very well. I mean, every year you have new businesses coming in, new interests. You have new marketplaces, like certain companies are trying to create new marketplaces, new grading services. So you see so much growth. And then even here, like at regionals, like I think they hit capacity for the video games.
Oh yeah.
And it's surprising. I remember, back in the day, like 10 years ago, it was a fraction of what it is now. So I think honestly it's really hard to be cynical about the hobby because there's just every category I think is doing well from modern to vintage.
New to vintage, yeah.
I've always felt for all hobbies, including early baseball and hockey and toys, from the Star Wars toys from the 70s, and I've always believed that as long as the hobby is popular, as long as they're making movies like Detective Pikachu, as long as they have games like Pokemon Go was, as long as they're producing card sets, and releasing them, and the kids are growing up with them again. I've always said 15 to 20 years from Pokemon's last release, the hobby is safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly believe that today at the regionals, Leon and I were they're receiving people, and I'm telling you, half of them were kids not even up to our waist.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows you the health of the hobby, because
Uh-huh.
those kids were Pokemon fanatics 20 years after the first English release.
That's a good point.
25 years after the first Pokemon release. And it's still just as big. The kids are still starting young, and there's no end in sight.
Yeah.
So how healthy is the hobby? Extremely healthy.
I think a lot of people would like to know just kind of more about each of y'all's collections. I guess some of like your, you don't have to say how you got most of the stuff, but just some of your favorite stuff from your collections.
Yeah, that's tough.
And I guess for you, obviously, it's the Charizards.
Yeah.
You got the first edition Charizards.
Yeah, I think most of the Heart Squad is familiar with my Charizards. We've shown them off before, and yeah, that's the cherry on my
Do you have
sundae.
any like sealed product as well?
I have quite a bit of silver.
Quite a bit. Okay,
Yeah. And it's all product that I collected in the early days.
In the early days, okay.
And I actually have 9 first edition base set boxes sealed.
Which he will be generously giving to me in another video, right? But no, but that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, the first 5 new subscribers on this channel is going to be, well, let me think about that.
Well, what about you? I know you said you like the trophy cards a lot and the Southern Island cards, but are there? I would love to know from, and it could be from Gary after this, just some cards that you think people wouldn't really know much about that are actually pretty.
Well, a good segue to like what we'll eventually do, another top 10 video. We that revision one. I think whenever that comes out on Lee's channel,
I want to be doing like another kind of top 10 rarest and most expensive Pokemon card videos. We actually did one a few years ago, but it's definitely been a little bit updated since then, and that's what'll.
Yeah, and there's going to be some on there that I think are new. That people haven't seen before, like a Trophy Kangaskhan is really doing well. It's grown. I think it's really surpassed a lot of people's expectations, and that's a great card that is done by Sugimori. Great artwork, great design, great release, very rare. It really does everything for a collector. But yeah, it's so hard to name one thing. I think a good way to, like, I started with basic just like Gary and got through all the WotC cards, and then I was like, hey, well, what's next? And I found Japanese promos, and I found trophy cards. It's like you just keep climbing, like in the game, you start in Palatine, you keep going to Elite Four.
Right, yeah.
So I think it's the same process, and I really just appreciate, as cheesy as it may sound, I really appreciate all of it. Like the WotC stuff, I understand its history, the Japanese trophies I understand, but I think in that top 10 video, there'll definitely be some cards people have never seen before because they are so rare. So that'll be a great showcase for them.
And what about you, Gary? Just, I know you said your first edition boxes and everything. You don't dab into any of the newer sets or anything, right?
I really don't, but only because you can only do so much. And Pokemon is 25 years old. There's been 25 years of content and product, and I'm not real deep. I don't think I've collected anything out of a box since 2007. And I have...
Which that was right around like the EX series for the Gold Stars.
Yeah, like Power Keepers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But do I appreciate newer product? Oh, I couldn't appreciate anything more. That's the lifeblood
Right.
of this hobby.
Yeah.
Our old stuff, isn't going to carry this hobby into decades forward.
Right.
That stuff is going to Hidden Fates, and these
The new Pokemon Sword and Shield cards that are going to be coming out. Yeah.
And
a
I think
lot of talk about it.
what you said about, you can only collect so much. I remember when I first started, like in probably like 2006 when these sets were new, like Dragon Frontier Fates. I remember the president of PSA was talking about sports. He's like, in baseball, you can't collect it all. Like you can only maybe do pre-war, or you can do 1960 or 1980. And now because the hobby is so established, like tying in the other point, that you do have to like cut out a little niche now, because back then you could do like all 8 years, but now you really have to find a focus.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't appreciate trophy cards, because I got to tell you something. Even though I have some, I envy Scott to no ends with his trophy collection. And even though it's not my niche, it is something that I just totally respect, and I love those cards, and I love the people that collect them, and they're talking about them, and you know, just because I don't collect those specifically anymore, it doesn't mean I don't appreciate them. You know,
You can't because I got them on there.
I know. But if you ever do sell anything, you will let me know. Or we'll trade some Charizard.
Some first edition base set boxes for those trophies. But well, before we kind of head out, I just want, is there anything, everybody, I do want y'all to know, Scott does have his own YouTube channel. I will put a link in the description if you want to go check it out. Very, very incredible channel that y'all should go check out if you'd like to check more into the, what would you like to say? Give it a little spiel.
More informational, like
more
it's
informational.
more of an acquired taste, you know.
Okay. Yeah. We'll definitely go check out his channel. And as far as like Gary go, you do have an Instagram as well.
I started an Instagram about.
It's really him, by the way, for people that were not sure if it was.
Boy, I get a lot of that. I started about a month and a half ago. I have like 1,200 followers, which I'm so excited about.
Flex.
I know that was so quick. And I love checking it, and I love seeing.
Yeah, you are very responsive.
Yeah, very much so. And up until today, I've answered every single question, you know, having to do with
good luck
history.
after this video to answer every single question.
Yeah, I try. Yeah, but I've tried to, and I really enjoy that. It's Gary _ from _ pawn _
Good luck, everybody.
Can you say that?
I will put that in the description.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
just go to the description, everybody. But no, before we go though, is there like just anything you would like to say as far as talking to the Pokemon world out there? Just before we go, or just
Well, I would like to start with something.
Sure thing.
I'd like to say something about these two guys.
Oh, thank you.
Number one, Leonhart. What he has done for this game, and what he has done for all of our interests in this hobby has just been astronomical.
Thank you.
And so, I mean, I watch every single video he puts out. So that should tell you something. And with Scott, the information he gives us, it's stuff you can't get anywhere else. It's stuff that nobody is going to tell you about. So be sure to watch Smpratte on YouTube, because I mean, his content I actually look forward to.
You don't look forward to my content?
Every day I look forward to it.
Right.
11 o'clock, my time.
Gary's so consistent with his shout outs when you were on that Anthony Padilla thing. He gave us them both. He's like, all right, Leonhart and Smpratte.
I love that. Leonhart for entertainment, for information, for actual information. You go to his channel. No, but seriously, guys, if that's everything, like, thank y'all both so much. These guys are like the pillars of collecting. There's tons of collectors out there as well, and I thank y'all so much for what you do for the hobby and just enjoying something that we're all passionate about, and that's collecting Pokemon cards. So thank you, both of you. Right. And you were about to say something.
The only thing I was going to say is that idea about enjoying the hobby is why we're here. And like when people ask about how to do what you do as a YouTuber, how to do like what you do selling cards for a living, you have to enjoy it. I mean, that's really it.
Look at it this way. Scott flew here from St. Louis. I flew here from Nevada, from Las Vegas, Nevada. And why are we here? You know, we're here for the same reason you guys are watching us. It's for the hobby and the love of the hobby.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. It's Scott.
Yeah, this was
Gary,
fun.
All right.
Thank you so much.